Hello, and welcome to the Social Squirrel Show. My name is Bex. I am the CEO and founder of Savvy Squirrel Social, which is a digital marketing company that specializes in helping businesses on social media with their digital marketing needs. And this is the very first episode of my podcast. And I have a special guest with me here today from Speak Up for Kids. Her name is Barbara Scarlata. And we're just going to talk about her business a little bit, and she's going to share what she does and the journey that she's on. So, Barbara, do you want to tell a little bit about your background doing what you're doing?
I will. But first, I want to say thank you very much for having me on your very first podcast. I'm really thrilled and honored.
I'm so excited to have you.
So, yes, I am. I work with Speak Up for Kids. But a little bit about my background. I am a retired attorney from the Philadelphia suburbs. I had a fairly active family law practice. And at one point, our president judge came up to me and asked me if I would consider representing the legal interests of the children in foster care. Now, at that point, I had no idea that there was a foster care system. I didn't know anything about it. But the president judge asked me, so I agreed to do it. So I was then exposed to a whole different world. I did not know that for some children, home is not a safe place. So I spent 15 years representing these children who were placed in foster care because they could not live with their biological parents for various reasons. And some of them, they turned out well. They were able to be reunited with their parents. Sometimes it did not turn out well, and the parents were not able to take the children back. So when I moved down to Florida, I couldn't practice law down here because I'm not licensed to practice in Florida. But I found an organization that really resonated with what I was doing up north, Speak Up for Kids. What we do is we advocate for the children in Palm Beach County who are in the foster care system. It was really hard for me to believe when I first moved down here, but at any one time, there's anywhere between 1,400 and 1,600 children who've had to be removed from their home because they've been abused, abandoned, or neglected by their parents. Almost half of them are ages 5 and under. So we're talking about little kids who have to be removed because their parents are drug addicts, alcoholics, have mental health issues, or simply just do not know how to take care of the children that they're supposed to be taking care of. Let me backtrack a little bit. When the children are removed from their home, they're brought before a judge. And the judge says to them, I'm sorry, you can't go home right now until certain problems are taken care of. If the child is really lucky, there's a relative who's able to take that child in. If the child is not so lucky, then they're placed in the home of a foster family. Frequently, that foster family is a stranger to that child. So think about what the child's gone through. Child has been traumatized by what the parent does to them, has been traumatized again by having to be removed from their home, away from their siblings, away from their pets, away from the only home they've ever known, and then placed in the home of a total stranger. Back in 2008, Speak Up for Kids was established to help these children. And the way we were established to help children is to be the fundraising arm for the Guardian Ad Litem, at that point, it's Guardian Ad Litem program. When the judge places the child in either a foster relative placement or foster home or group home, the judge also assigns a Guardian Ad Litem volunteer. That volunteer is the eyes and ears for that child. That volunteer is in charge of determining what is in the best interest and welfare of that child. And the volunteer does that by talking to the child, by talking to the caseworker, by talking to the treating professionals, and coming up with a plan, and then presenting that plan to the judge and said, Judge, this is what I think needs to be done for the best interest of the child. That Guardian Ad Litem also makes sure that that plan is implemented. So that Guardian Ad Litem frequently is the only stable adult in the child's home. So back in 2008, there were some people who wanted to help these children even more. The Guardian Ad Litem program at that point was government funded. It still is government funded, which meant it's underfunded. So Speak Up for Kids was started in order to help raise money so that the Guardian Ad Litem volunteers can do what they need to do for these children. Since then, we have grown and grown and grown. So the Office of the Guardian Ad Litem is now only one of our programs. I don't know whether you want me to go into the programs right now or you want me to talk a little bit more about the kids.
You can do both if you want. I guess one of my questions would be, how do you find out which kids need to be, saved, I guess we could say? Like, how do you get involved with that? I mean, obviously it's going on in their homes. Do people call you and say like they think something's going on, or?
Exactly. It could be a neighbor, it could be a teacher, it could be a relative who sees something going on in the home, and that person contacts officials, and those officials then do a little bit of investigation, and then if they determine that the child has to be removed for whatever reason, they show up at the child's home. Usually, frequently with a police officer, because they don't want any violence to take place. And it's very emotional for the parents. It's very emotional for the child. So what has happened in the past is that the caseworker hands the child a trash bag and say, you have 5 minutes to gather your stuff together before you have to leave your home. We call that trash bag trauma. We have since then have implemented a way of dealing with that by providing them with comfort cases, backpacks that have pajamas, that have stuffed animals, that have toys, they have hygiene equipment, things that the child will need in order to feel at least a little bit comfortable in their new environment. But these children then are taken out of their home, placed in the home of strangers. One of our programs is Foster Palm Beach. So we help find local, loving, caring foster homes for these children. We also have quite a number of other programs. These children, as you can imagine, need therapy. Their basic therapy is taken care of by the state, but some of them need much more intensive therapy. We make sure that they get that. We make sure that they can live as normal life as possible. And what that means, especially for school-age kids, we want to make sure that they have clothes to wear to school. We want to make sure that they have school supplies. We want to make sure that they have the ability to do what their classmates are doing, such as taking swimming lessons if they want to have swimming lessons, taking soccer lessons, going to after-school programs, attending summer camp. We want them to live as normal life as possible, and we have the ability through our fundraising to be able to help them do that. We also have some specialty courts. As I said earlier, a lot of these children are ages 5 and under. So we have early childhood court, where instead of a big courtroom, the judge, the treating professionals, and the guardian ad litem sit around a table and talk informally about what needs to be done for that child. We also have therapeutic court for the children who need special therapies. Again, it's more of an informal setting than a courtroom. And they discuss what therapies that child needs in order to get over the trauma that that child has experienced. We have, like I say, we do everything we can because we want them to think of themselves as kids, not foster kids. I can go on and on. In the beginning of the pandemic, we started a program called Students Speak Up for Kids, where we actively solicit mostly high school and college kids to come up with their own ideas of how to make the community aware of what the children of foster care need. And they come up with some fantastic creative ideas. We finance it. They go through with the ideas. They implement their plan on how these children how the community can best become involved in helping the foster children. So it's children helping children, which has been worked out wonderfully. A couple years back, 2 of the Wellington sophomores that were involved with Students Speak Up for Kids decided that they wanted to do a separate program. They were both very musically inclined, and they wanted to have a program that teaches foster kids how to music lessons. So they started a program called Music Buddies, which again we finance, but they implement. So any child who is in the foster care system who wants to learn how to play a musical instrument, we can make that happen. We want them, again, to live as normal life as possible. Again, through Students Speak Up for Kids, over the past couple of months, they've started a life skills portal. Think about this. You've been in foster care for a good part of your life. You are now 17 years old, about ready to graduate high school. When you graduate high school and turn 18, you're no longer part of the dependency court hearing or the dependency court system. What do? You've never had to fill out a job application. You've never had to take the bus system on your own. You've never had to be prepped for a job interview. So some of the students have started something called the Life Skills Portal, which has really taken off. It's an online portal, which has a number of different ways, different resources for these kids aging out of the foster care system so that they can figure out what they want to do with their life. Do they want to go to college? Or would they prefer to go into one of the trades? Would they prefer to go into the military? If they want to go into college, how do they apply to college? We make sure the Life Skill Portal has a way to show them how to do that. If they want to learn how to be independent, but they've never had to navigate the bus system here in Palm Beach County, there's a part of the Life Skills Portal that shows them how to navigate the bus schedules. They've never had to wash their own clothes. There's a Life Skills Portal section that tells them how to wash your clothes, how to cook a meal, basically how to transition from being a kid to being an adult. And that has been extremely successful to the point where we've now added a concierge to help the children navigate their way through the Life Skills Portal. When we found out a couple years ago that children in foster care frequently do not have their birthdays celebrated, we knew that we had to change that. So we started a program called The Gift of Birthday. So every child in foster care gets a card, a cake, and a gift on their birthday. Their special day should be celebrated. We make sure that it's celebrated. Again, it's all in helping them lead a normal life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's so moving to see these kids. We have a number of events that are just for the kids in foster care. One we just had 2 days ago over at Adrenaline in Lake Worth. 150 kids signed up to bounce. It's basically a bounce house.
Oh, wow.
A big bounce house. So we provided the pizzas. It's all underwritten by Velocity Community Credit Union. We have to give them credit for it. They did a fantastic job. But to see the smiles on their faces when they're able to do something like a normal kid. Mm-hmm. Every December, we have something called Winterfest. It's a big carnival. We have games and toys for the kids. We have the Bikers Against Child Abuse that come out and be part of it. We have the real Santa Claus that comes to Winterfest and interacts with the kids. We have the princesses that come. And up until this past year, there's an actual carnival on the property of the Electrical Workers Union in West Palm. This past year was a little bit different because the weather was not cooperative. So we had to bring everything inside, but it still was a wonderful experience. We had the kids able to pick out their own Christmas presents. Again, Santa was there. We had toys and games and crafts for the kids. So we're hoping that this coming December, the weather cooperates so the kids can enjoy the carnival rides again.
Very nice. Now, how many kids do you have in the program?
In the program, at any one time, the numbers fluctuate because some kids leave the dependency court system, other kids come into the dependency court system on any one day. But the average is anywhere between 1,400 and 1,600 children.
Wow, just from Palm Beach County?
Just from Palm Beach County. I know, hard to believe.
And is that all under 5 years old, or do you get over 5 as well?
We get over 5 years old. That's from ages birth to ages 18.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, almost half of them are ages 5 and under, but the rest of the kids are over the age of 5, and they are in the dependency court system until they graduate high school or they turn 18.
Okay. And now when they get into, I guess, the system, are they also able to get adopted out, or do they stay in until they're 18 and that's it?
It's so case specific. The parents are given a list of things that they have to do to correct the problems. And good percentage of the parents actually do. If there's a drug addiction, they'll go to a rehab. If it's an alcohol addiction, they'll go to a rehab. If there's mental health issues, they'll start treatment. Once the court sees that they have corrected the problems, then the court will allow the child to go home. The goal for every case, I shouldn't say that. The goal for most of the cases is reunification. There's sometimes when reunification with the parents is not possible, like one parent is dead and the other person is serving a substantial amount of time in jail. In that case, reunification with the parent is not possible. But most of the cases, the initial goal is to reunify the child with the parent. That's what we want. We want the child and the parent to be able to get back together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can tell you a personal story. An 8-year-old boy that I represented when I was the attorney representing the children in foster care in Philadelphia suburbs. Mom had some serious mental health issues. She was cognitively delayed. She got a job, and she was really, really proud of the fact that she got a job. But she didn't know what to do with her 8-year-old when she went to work. So she chained him to a radiator when she went to work, thinking that she was keeping him safe.
Oh, my God.
It took several weeks before somebody found out that that's what was going on. Obviously, her son was removed from the home. The caseworkers worked with her to come up with a good, safe plan for her son while she went to work. The child was started on therapy so that he could get over the trauma of being chained to a radiator. And they were able to reunify. It was a wonderful experience seeing them back together. Mm-hmm. She thought she was doing the right thing. These things happen. Parents, some people just don't know how to parent. And sometimes they just need help in determining how to parent. In which case, if they're willing to get that help, the child's back with them.
So do you offer like a program for the parents as well to kind of get them, like if they're very much into, wanting to improve themselves, do you offer them something to do that?
It's funny you should ask because we just recently started Parents Speak Up for Kids.
Oh, okay.
Foster parents and biological parents help each other. So yeah, there is a social support system for the foster parents and for the biological parents. And also the caseworkers are there to help. They're there to tell mom or dad, look, this is the situation. Get yourself straightened out. We can while you're getting yourself straightened out, we might be able to have limited visits with your child. Once you're straightened out, we'll be able to tell the court that everything's fine and the child can go home with you. And that's what we want to see.
Mm-hmm. So ultimately, the goal is to get the child back with the parents.
Exactly. Sometimes that's not possible. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the parents just would choose drugs over their child. Sometimes the parents are not able, like I said, a situation where mom is dead and dad is incarcerated, then the parental rights must be terminated and the child's up for adoption. Fortunately, that's a smaller percentage of the cases.
Gotcha. Now, if someone wants to get involved with Speak Up for Kids, how do they get involved with you guys? You take volunteers, donations. What if they wanted to be a foster family with you guys? How would someone go about that?
We need all the above. If they go on our website, which is www.speakupforkidspbc.org, there is a volunteer link. We're always looking for volunteers. We have an event coming up this Saturday at Okeechobee Park. It's an event sponsored by the Latin American Motorcycle Club, and we have volunteers signed up for that. We have a number of events coming up where we need volunteers. We have our gala in the spring. We're always looking for volunteers to help the gala. We're looking for volunteers to do administrative work in our office. So volunteers are an important part of our organization. Donations are always needed. My job is to make the community aware of the fact that we exist, number one. Number two, make the community aware of the fact that these foster kids need help, and we need to provide the help by financial assistance. So if they can make a donation online, that'd be wonderful. And there is a way on our website to do that. The other possibility is our gala coming up next spring. We're looking for silent auction items. We're looking for live auction items. Anybody who wants to donate to our gala, please do. So, and anybody who wants to contact me, I can give you my contact information, but if anybody wants to contact me, they can reach out to me. My email is barbara@speakupforkidspbc.org.
Okay, very nice. Now, let me just ask you about the donations for your auction. Do you take, what kind of specific things are you guys looking for?
Really, we're pretty much open to anything.
Used items, new items. Are there any guidelines for that?
It would have to be new items.
Okay.
Experiences are always great for auction. People really enjoy bidding on different experiences. So we're always looking for that kind of thing. Donations, you just reminded me. Clothing donations, if they're new. Suitcase donations for the children, if they're new, would be a big benefit. Again, these kids need help. They leave their home with what they can fit into a suitcase or a trash bag or a comfort case, and they need clothes.
Yeah. Now, for the donations, do you have a location that people can go to drop off the donations? How do you guys accept those?
Our location is in the courthouse in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
Anybody who can drop off a donation there, fantastic. If not, I am always available to go pick up donations. We have another person in our office, Jonathan, who frequently is on the road picking up donations. We will make sure, if there's somebody out there who wants to make a donation, we'll make sure that donation arrives at our location.
Great. So they would just give you a call and then you can schedule the donation pickup if needed.
Exactly.
Very good. And now in terms of marketing your events and everything, where can people find out about them? Where do you guys post about the events?
On our website, speakupforkidspbc.org. We have our events listed on our website, including the Okehilly one coming up this Saturday, including Winterfest, including Storybook Village. I didn't talk about Storybook Village. In March, we have an event at a park where we give out, we want the kids to use their imagination. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books that we give out to the kids in foster care. We also have other organizations that have tables there. And each table will help them tell a story, help them get their imagination going. Again, it's another way of making them feel like a normal child. So donations of books would be helpful. Donations of really anything, as long as they're new donations, new items. Again, www.speakupforkidspbc.org. You can find all of our information on our website.
That's amazing. Very inspiring to what you're doing. What has been the most rewarding part of your journey so far?
Seeing the kids smile. These are kids who've been through a rough time. These are kids who have been traumatized. These are kids who don't deserve what they have going on in their lives. These are kids who did not choose to be born into a family that can't take care of them. And then to have, like the other day at Adrenaline, to see them smiling, it's just so great.
I love that.
I can't tell you, the 150 kids that came, the smiles on their faces, it was just a great, fantastic day.
That's awesome. That's really amazing. Well, I think we're just about out of time for this episode, but it was great having you on. And I really enjoyed hearing your story and all about the amazing things you're doing with your organization.
Thank you. I loved being on here.
It was great to have you. I'm so excited. I can't wait for this episode to air. Thank you so much for watching. It was great having Barbara here from Speak Up for Kids. If you're interested in getting involved or want to make donations, like she said, you can visit the website, speakupforkids.com or
speakupforkidspbc.com.
speakupforkidspbc.org.
.org, I'm sorry.
speakupforkidspbc.org. And you can find them on social media as well at Speak Up for Kids. And if you want to connect with me on social media, my handle is Savvy Squirrel Social, or you can visit my website at savvysquirrelsocial.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.